Um, Now it's closer. It's closer than most people realize, but alarm over GOP plot to drastically change the Constitution is is happening now. Now the Repugs are trying to force a convention that will put all of our constitutional rights all up for grabs. Now the government watchdogs are warning that the Republican takeover of state legislature in recent years could imminently have major implications for the United States, as a right-wing effort to hold a new constitutionalized convention appears closer than ever to being realized. Now on Monday, sorry, let me just stay here for a minute. Sorry. Now on Monday, a former Democratic U.S. Senator, Russ Feingold, wrote in an op-ed at The Guardian that Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution allows that the Constitution can be amended eventually, either with amendments being proposed by 2/3 of Congress and ratified by 3/4 of the states, or through a method that has never been tested before, the establishment of a new constitutional convention. Now to hold any new convention, 2/3 of the state legislators, which is 34 total, they must apply to hold a gathering. Now, where the lawmakers would have broad freedom to change the Constitution however they see fit. Now, 3/4 of the states would have to ratify their proposed amendment. Now, the Repugs, the Repugs have already packed the Supreme Court and is reaping the rewards, with decisions from Dobbs to Bruen that radically reinterpret the Constitution in defiance of a precedent and sound legal reasoning, wrote Feingold, and he referenced recent rulings on abortion rights and gun control. But factions of the right are not satisfied to wait for the court to reinterpret the Constitution, but instead they have set their rights on literally rewriting our own foundational document. Now, Feingold is now the president of the American Constitution Society, and he is among those warning that a new constitutional convention is closer to reality than most people realize, as the New York Times reported earlier this month. As the Democratic Party expanded considerable effort on passing federal legislation during the Obama administration, the ACLU communication strategist, not sure if I'm going to say this name right, Rotimi, it's spelled Rotimi, I'm not sure how you would fucking say that, Adeoye, or whatever the fuck it is, wrote at the Daily Beast last month that the Repugs focused on taking control of the state, at the state and local level, with Democrats losing 13 governorships and 816 legislative seats between 2008 and 2016. Now, as a result of this, the Repugs now just need control of four more fucking states to reach the threshold needed to call a second constitutional convention. Now, Feingold had wrote and noted that if right-wing advocates for a new convention like the Convention of States Project and the American Legislative Exchange Council, also known as ALEC, get their fucking way, there would be few limits on how Republicans could change that Constitution. There is nothing in the Constitution about how delegates should be selected, or how they would be apportioned, or how amendments would be proposed or agreed by delegates. There is little useful historical precedent that lends any insight to these important questions. This means that nearly any amendment can be proposed at such a convention, giving delegates enormous power to engage in political and any constitutional redrafting. Now, the framers left no rules, Feingold wrote in his book, The Constitution in Jeopardy. In this uncertainty lies great danger ahead, and possibly great power. The former Wisconsin senator wrote at The Guardian that Repugs could use a new convention to craft an amendment banning abortion care, and strip Americans of their voting rights, gut federal anti-poverty programs, and further threaten people's rights to be safe from gun violence by restraining their interpretation of the Second Amendment right. On Sunday, the Common Cause president Karen Hobart Flynn had told MSNBC in the hands of Repugs a second constitutional convention could put all of our constitutional rights up for grabs. Now, Feingold noted that a national policy discussion regarding the founding failures of the Constitution is warranted. That being said, any conversation about how to get about amending the Constitution needs to be transparent, inclusive, and informed. What factions of the right are pursuing is anything but. They are pursuing exclusively partisan outcomes, and they have sought to keep their efforts opaque. They do not seem any interested in the representative democratic process. The Convention of States of the States Project has received millions of dollars from the right-wing donors' capital funds, and has been endorsed by the Republican governors Ron DeSantis of Florida and Greg Abbott of Texas, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Marco Rubio of Florida. and influential conservative ball washers Sean Hannity and Ben Shapiro. Representative Jody Arrington from Texas, a strong proponent of a new constitutional convention, recently proposed legislation to direct the National Archives to conduct an official count of all the states that have called for a convention at various times. Democrats should take the threat seriously, and Amanda Litman, who's a co-founder of the Progressive Group Run for Something, told the Daily Beast. Repugs will always tell us what they want to do, and that we should believe them and think broadly and in the long term of where we should be working to stop this from happening. With the midterm elections fast approaching, Democrats must emphasize to voters that repugs still control most state legislators. If they remain in power, they can drastically change the Constitution, which is something we do not want. So, if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the about section of YouTube. And for just as little as a few bucks a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.